So, a very, very important posture, Tadasana. Tadasana means mountain pose, and it's a great resting pose if you're doing standing work. It's a fantastic alignment tool for general posture awareness. It's very scientific, and it's also a good starting position. So I think we just get straight into it. I've got bad posture. You'll see. When I stand in my natural standing pose, I have what's called forward head posture, which crunches the back of my neck. I've got a lot of anterior tilt in my pelvis, which pushes my abdomen forward. I've got a rotated pelvis, and it's higher on one side, and I have SI joint disorder, and I have a rounded shoulder position. So it's quite good to study one's own bad posture, and so that you can really connect with how fantastic Tadasana is, and learn so much about how to correct your misalignment. Some people start with the feet. I'm just going to start with the head today. We're going to do a look at both different ways of coming into it. So I'll do a tutorial on forward head posture, but just for now, I'm just going to slightly retract my head, and I hope that you can see that as soon as I start to retract my head and bring my head up in line with my spine, instead of having my head forward of my body, that brings my whole alignment up into a taller posture. It pulls my core in, and immediately I start to feel better. All the muscles in the back of my neck release. I have also temporal mandibular joint disorder, so I'm going to relax my jaw by sighing the breath out through the mouth. Taking breath in, and let the jaw and the face relax. And then I'm just going to keep my back teeth apart so that I'm not going to clench and grind my jaw. Keep my head slightly retracted. We then have at the front of the collarbones a point called where the counterpose process comes through. It actually attaches from my shoulder blade and comes underneath my collarbone, and then the pectoral muscles in my chest attach to the counterpose process. So the action is to lift it up and roll it back. So that's going to lift the chest, stretch the pectoral muscles, lower my shoulder blades down the back, and then we'll think about shoulder blade position. So if we want the blades of the shoulder blade, the blades of the shoulders to move closer together, pull them in gently. That's also going to open and widen across the front of the chest. We're going to use the lateral muscles in the side to pull the tip of the shoulder blade down. That's also going to help to create distance between my ears and my shoulders. And I like to just do a bit of kind of draping movement, kind of just lifting one arm and kind of draping the arm out to the side to try to just get this kind of small softness. We don't want to be rigid and hard in Tadasana. We want to be nice and gentle, soft and relaxed, although be in a firm, comfortable posture. So lift the counterpose process up, roll it back, and then just allow your shoulder blades to kind of drape down the back, the blades of the shoulder blades coming together, tip of the shoulder blades moving down the back, space between the ears and the shoulders, head retracted. Now what we don't want to do when we start getting into this shoulder position is to thrust the rib cage forward and the sternum points up. So what we're going to do is take a deep breath in, and if you've done your intra-abdominal pressure tutorial, you're going to expand the ribs and chest on the in-breath and get more length here. So what we're doing is raising the rib cage away from the pelvis, and it's a feeling of kind of lifting your sternum up rather than pushing it out. And then we're going to draw the bottom ribs down towards the top of the pelvis. So although we've got length here, we're also contracting here. So you're engaging your rectus abdominals. They run from the sternum to the pubic bone. May also be a feeling of trying to lift your pubic bone up towards the sternum. So although I've come into this good alignment in the shoulder blades, good alignment in the head and the jaw and the face, I'm not pushing the ribs forward, so engaging some of the superficial core muscles here. If you find that your rounded shoulders, you might find that the back of your hands face forward and the thumbs turn in towards the thighs. So you could exaggerate for a moment, just getting some external rotation in the top of the arm bone. So roll the top of the arm bone out and bring the little finger edge of the hand down towards the thigh. Now that's quite a rigid and stiff feeling in the arms and shoulders. So you can keep your head, shoulder, rib position, and then just kind of allow your arms to relax loosely by the sides. So the arms just hanging off of the appendicular skeleton. Sorry, the axial skeleton. So the arms are appendicular, central body is axial. When it comes to the pelvis, now because I'm an anterior tilter, it's quite hard for me to tuck the tailbone under, reduce the lumbar curve a bit, pull the belly in, lift the pubic bone. And for some of you, you wouldn't want to do that anyway because you might be quite stuck in your posterior tilt. And so a little bit of tilting backwards and forwards in the pelvis to try and find your neutral pelvis. But if you're trying to correct posture, and if you're trying to retrain your pelvis to go back to a neutral position from either anterior or posterior, you might want to practice a little bit more exaggerating the opposite position from your natural position. Okay, so for me, a little bit more postural tilt, posterior tilt, tilting the tailbone down, lifting the pubic bone up. For some people, or some techniques, you're asked to have your feet together with the middle toe or the second toe in line with the heel to bring the toes parallel, the sides of the feet parallel, front of the toes level. Now, for good posture, we want the long bones of the legs to be aligned over each other, and for the pillars of the legs to feel that they are really supporting the pelvis, and therefore the pelvis then supports the upper body. So I would say in the ideal postural alignment, having your feet more like hip width apart is going to be more posturally aligning and more stable. So think about having the hip joints, the knee joints, the ankle joints all stacked over each other so that the long bones of the legs are well aligned. If you prefer, you can have your feet closer together. It really is a personal choice. So for some of us, we are hypermobile in the knees, which means that if I really straighten my legs a lot, but I'm not hypermobile, that my legs would banana back the wrong way. So nobody wants to do that. And this is a general rule for life. A little bit of bounce, softness in the knees, and then as you straighten the legs, don't push the back of the knees back, but just try and lift your thighs and strengthen the thigh muscles and don't banana the legs back, keep the long bones of the legs stacked over each other. And for those of you that are hypermobile, that's going to feel quite difficult to do, but train your body back to strength by doing that. Very grounded through the big toes, little toes, centre of the heels, so rocking backwards and forwards on the feet, and really, and also inner and outer edges of the feet until you feel really grounded, spreading through the toes rather than clawing the toes. Big toe, little toe, centre of the heel, all grounded. So when we pull that all together, I'll go from my bad posture to Tadasana and I'll talk you through what I'm doing. I'm going to go from feet up this time. So I'm going to look down at the toes, align the front of the toes level, have the feet hip width, roll the toes in and out, front to back until I feel very grounded. Just gently micro bending the knees and then lifting up through the thighs. You can lift the arches of the feet with a feeling of turning your knees slightly outward, so an external rotation in the hips, but also then push down into the big toes. That will help to lift the arches. Now breathe in, pull up into the pelvic floor, and exhale, pull in at the navel. That will help to support the lumbar curve in the lower back. And then dropping the front of the rib cage down towards the pelvis, and a feeling of, when I breathe in, expanding the ribs and chest to lengthen in the abdomen, a draping of the shoulder blades in, down and back, a lifting of the counterpose process and rolling it back, and feeling as I reach down with my hands that I'm also getting that space between the shoulders and the ears. Soft jaw, retraction of the head, a feeling of the crown of the head getting pulled up towards the ceiling. And then relaxing into some deep breathing here. And you just keep taking your attention up and down and tweaking the position until you feel that there's lightness, that the head is lightly carried on the neck and shoulders, the jaw, the face are relaxed, the shoulders are relaxing down away from the ears, the chest feels open and expansive, you can breathe up into the top of the lungs, that the core feels really strong. We sometimes have a feeling of leaning forward into space because we tend to be propelling ourselves forward, so perhaps you just feel as though you're resting slightly on the wall behind you, but keep really grounded through the feet and strong in the legs and supported in the pelvis. And then you can just meditate into Tadasana. After a while, your muscles want to rebound back to their habitual, either they're over tight, over strong, over stretched, and you'll be wanting to slide back into your habitual posture. So it's a really good meditative posture so that you can start to learn about where you need to keep tweaking, adjusting and returning to the specifics of the Tadasana pose. Hope you find that helpful. Thank you.